The fluorescent lights above buzzed softly, flickering just enough to cast a mild glow over the old nursing home hallway. Room 109 was at the end, tucked away like a forgotten chapter in a long book. Inside, the scent of antiseptic mingled with lavender, the scent Maria always sprayed after cleaning. Maria Alvarez, just 27, walked in quietly, her footsteps careful not to startle anyone. She had always been the kind of person who believed in doing more than what was expected. Though her shift had technically ended, she returned to room 109 like she did every night. Mr. Harold, once a towering figure in the local community, now lay sunken in his bed, pale and silent. Dementia had stolen his words. Most of the staff had stopped trying to engage with him. He hadn't spoken in months, but Maria hadn't given up. She sat beside him, pulled out her phone, and softly began humming a tune, a lullaby her mother used to sing to her as a child. "Sleep, sleep, little star, you've traveled from afar. May your heart find peace tonight, bathed in silver moonlight." Her voice was soft, fragile even, but comforting. She watched his chest rise and fall, his fingers twitch slightly. She didn't know if he heard her, but she hoped he did. What Maria didn't see just beyond the cracked door was a man standing in the dim hallway, eyes filled with conflict, watching, listening. Daniel Gray hadn't planned to visit. His assistant had informed him that his father, Harold Gray, was in hospice care. Daniel had hesitated. After all, they hadn't spoken in nearly a decade. The old man had been stubborn, cold, business-minded to a fault. They had fought over Daniel's career choice, leaving behind the family's manufacturing empire to build his own tech firm. Their last conversation ended with raised voices and a slammed door. But here Daniel was. As he approached room 109, he expected to find silence. What he didn't expect was music, a soft, pure voice singing lullabies to the man who once ruled boardrooms with iron fists. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching the young woman. She didn't know she had an audience. Her care was not performative, it was real. Daniel's chest tightened. He had sent expensive doctors, arranged top-tier care. But this young woman was offering something his millions never could. Humanity, a storm raged outside that night. Rain tapped the windows like fingers begging to come in. Maria stayed longer than usual, concerned about the loneliness that rain often brought. She sat beside Mr. Harold and began to sing again, her fingers lightly brushing the back of his hand. The song was different this time, deeper, more emotional. It was one her mother sang when times were hard, when they couldn't afford rent, or when she cried herself to sleep after her father died. "Stars above, don't forget me, I'm still learning how to shine. Even if the world is quiet, sing your song, and I'll be fine." As she finished the last note, she saw it. A single tear had rolled down Mr. Harold's cheek. Her breath caught. "Mr. Harold," she whispered, inching closer. His eyes, cloudy and tired, fluttered open, just for a second, and they met hers. Tears welled in her own eyes. "You heard me, didn't you?" Outside the room, Daniel gripped the doorframe. He hadn't cried since he was 14, but right then, a tear slipped down his cheek. He had come expecting to say goodbye to a ghost. Instead, he was witnessing life whispering its way back in. The next morning, Maria arrived early. She carried a small bouquet of daisies. Mr. Harold's chart had once mentioned they were his late wife's favorite. She walked into the room, humming quietly as always, but today was different. As she neared his bedside, his hand moved toward hers. "You're the girl who sings," he said in a raspy voice. Maria froze, her heart leapt. "Mr. Harold, you remember?" He smiled weakly. "Your voice. It brought something back, thank you." She sat down quickly, afraid to disturb the miracle. "You're welcome. I'm just glad you're feeling better." Just then, Daniel stepped inside the room. Maria turned, slightly startled. He had never shown his face before. "Dad," he said softly. Mr. Harold's eyes widened. "Danny, is it really you?" Daniel nodded, walking to the bed. His posture wasn't confident now. It was uncertain, like a boy seeing his father for the first time after years of estrangement. "I'm sorry I stayed away so long," Daniel whispered. "I'm sorry for everything," his father replied. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was filled with forgiveness, and Maria, sitting quietly beside them, realized she had witnessed something rare and sacred, a reconnection that only compassion could spark. 2 days later, Mr. Harold passed away peacefully in his sleep. Maria had been with him, holding his hand, singing one last lullaby as the night embraced him. At the small, private funeral, there were no large crowds or flashing cameras. Just a few old friends, and one woman who had sung to a stranger like he was family. Daniel approached Maria afterward, his eyes heavy but grateful. "Miss Alvarez," he said gently, "you don't know what you've done for me, for my father. He passed with peace because of you." "I just did what I felt was right," she replied humbly. He handed her a sealed envelope. "This is from both of us." Inside, Maria found a letter and a legal document. It was a scholarship, fully funded, for any nursing or music therapy program she wanted, along with a small trust fund for her to live while she studied. The note read, "To the woman who sang life into a man others had forgotten. Thank you for loving him when he had no words to ask for it. The world needs more hearts like yours. Daniel and Harold Gray." Maria clutched the letter to her chest. She had never done this for recognition or reward. She had sung because it felt right. But now, because of that one act of compassion, her life had changed forever. Maria stood by the nursing home window days later, watching the clouds drift lazily across the sky. She still hummed the lullaby from time to time, not for Mr. Harold anymore, but for the countless souls still waiting to be seen, heard, and remembered. Her story reminded others that sometimes the smallest acts, a song, a smile, a quiet moment, can ripple across lives in ways we can't imagine. She had no idea a millionaire had been listening outside that room. But maybe that's the beauty of true kindness. It sings, even when no one is watching.